Welcome to Daily Plunge. We're in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 10, verses 1 through 16. This passage talks about how Jesus is sending out the 70, right? So it's not just the 12 disciples. It's not just the ordained. It's not just for leaders. Jesus is sending out his disciples, all the people. And they're sent everywhere that Jesus intends to go, which means he's not going to be there, but he's sending his messengers to bring that, right? And they're not going alone. They're going in pairs. And that's the way we are to do ministry. We're not to be lone rangers. We're to do ministry in teams. Now it says, pray that the Lord of the harvest will raise up workers for the harvest. Because the harvest belongs to God. He's the one who makes it happen. The harvest is plentiful. And while God is reconciling the whole world to himself, yet there is work to be done. And someone has to do that. And that someone, well, it's Jesus' disciples, which means you and me, right? Now, since these 70s are the harvesters who are being sent out, what are they to pray for? Well, they're to pray that they are empowered by God, by the Spirit, for his labor. Because it's not their work, it's God's work that they're allowed to be a part of, right? So we have to rely upon God. We're not responsible for the harvest, we're just responsible to do the work. Now, as it goes on, he says, I'm sending you out as lambs among wolves. He's not sending you out as wolves amongst the wolves. We're not supposed to get down and dirty like the rest of the world. We are called to be lambs among the wolves. And he tells them, don't take anything with you. Don't take a shirt, bag, all that other stuff. And there's a reference here that the workers deserve the wages for the ministry they're doing. But there's also another aspect in which do we trust God to provide for us in the work we're doing. Now he says to them that if you're going anywhere and you say peace to this house, and that peace, if someone there who promotes peace, you're to stay with them. And this whole idea is the person of peace. It's not our calling to go out and find the biggest, baddest atheist we can, but rather the low-hanging fruit. Who are the people that God is already working in their lives, whispering in their hearts? That's who we're to look for. Now he goes on to say, you are to eat whatever's put before you. And there's nothing more cultural than food, right? There's a difference between the food in Indiana to Louisiana to New Mexico to New York City, right? And all over the world. And what he's saying is that don't try to change them into your culture, but embrace their culture to speak the kingdom to them. He goes on to say, heal the sick, and then tell them the kingdom has come near. And so that the work of healing people's lives is the sign that the kingdom of God has come near. And he says, if you're not welcomed, well, tell them too that the kingdom has come near and they've missed out on it. It's not your job to be upset. It's not your job to punish them. God will take care of that. Dust off, just wipe off the dust and move on. But he says to these cities, if Sodom had seen the miracles that you have seen, they would have repented, but you haven't. And we think about that in our own day and age. Well, thanks, friends. We covered a lot. Have a blessed day. We'll talk to you soon.